Hello everyone, this is the Fortune Teller Showcase. So Fortune Teller is a very unique vocation. It is an attacker, supporter, and healer vocation. However, you have to decide which of those three you want to be. Or pretty much you have to select between two of them. Now, what Fortune Tellers are capable of doing is they can use what is called tarot cards to perform unique attacks that can also have special effects like poison, paralyze, lower enemy weaknesses, and so on. They are capable of buffs, such as a 2-stage attack buff, basically maximum umful, which affects everybody, and maximum K buff, which will affect everybody and heal them over time. They are also capable of two different types of AoE reses and singular AoE reses, and some pretty powerful heals that goes based off of their magical mending, and it also depends on the cards that you have. So this is my deck. It's mostly S's. However, there are SS ranks and SSS ranks. The thing is, to get those takes quite a lot of involvement, because Fortune Teller is actually a pretty powerful vocation if you're willing to put the time and effort into getting SS and SS rank cards and filling up your entire deck with them. Because right now, say like my 80 heal here can actually do somewhere around 300. Because the card is an S-type, and I have high magical mending. There's also an AoE heal, like this one here, that'll do about the same amount too. Now, if this was an SS or an SSS card, it would be healing for much more than that. So my guess is, with an SS healer card or SSS healing card, you could probably heal the whole group for maybe somewhere around 400 HP, up to maybe 550 or so HP. That being said, though, the thing is, you have to basically play with your deck and make sure that you always have a specific card at hand when you need it, and shuffle cards around as the battle progresses. So that's why ease of play on this is very low. It's not an easy vocation to play through, but if you're willing to go through it, grind for those cards, keep finding tarot medals, to keep going through card packs, playing with the RNG game, and work at it to fill your whole deck with SS or SSS rank cards, then you'll have a pretty powerful vocation capable of debuffing enemies, weakening them, buffing your allies, healing, and reviving. Fortune Teller is capable of using sword, bow, whip, rod, fist, shield, and of course they have Diviner. Most Fortune Tellers I've seen tends to go with the whip. Due to their ability to basically, it has that to remove any positive effects, increase their own attack. It also has a few debuffs. I've also seen quite a few of them use sword to give them a little bit of extra damage, as well as allow them to use shield, but I believe whips can be used with shield. And then of course there's bow, which gives them the ability to bring back their own MP with Hollow Arrow. It also gives them a ranged option so they can stay in the back row and not be in any danger, because it is a cloth-wearing vocation. It does get a little bit more HP than other cloth-wearing vocations, but they are still squishy all the same, unless you stack a bunch of resistances. But they do get the benefit of shield. I don't have it maxed out as of yet, but they do get that extra layer of defense, and then of course they have sword. which they get the usual sword fare. So it gives them a little extra damage that they can do, depending on what kind of fortune teller you're trying to be. But most fortune tellers will be the support and healing type. I have myself situated with cards that are support and healing for right now. As for collecting the cards, you will be opening tarot packs that you can buy from the tarot vendor where the fortune teller quests are, but you primarily want to go for tarot medals to get rare packs to try to go for certain monsters that you need to get specific monsters of, to combine them to create other monsters, other monster cards, to try to go for an SS or an SSS rank. There are websites in Japanese, but if you translate to English, it'll tell you pretty much what cards you need to get those SS and SSS ranks. Now, Diviner. For its 8-point skill, it is Arcana Divination, very important. When you use it, tarot fragments will now drop for the next 30 minutes. Without it, tarot fragments will drop much more rarely, so you have to remember as a fortune teller to keep this up at all times whenever you're fighting, grinding, or doing anything, so you can collect these tarot fragments, because when you have enough of them, you can combine them to make a tarot medal, which then you go to the magic maze to fight a tarot boss. The boss isn't really all that difficult. Level 80 plus group should be able to handle it. See hidden enemies. All vocations can now see hidden enemies. Very useful skill here, and it works for everybody, as you can see there. So for those that were always complaining about, hey, I can't see these hidden enemies, what a pain in the ass, like those little mud hands or certain ghosts. If you level up Fortune Teller and take this skill, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You'll be able to see them all. Right Fling. It basically throws the 2 right cards in your hand, effectively using them. So if you have like 2 attack cards, it's going to use them towards a boss or enemy. I haven't really played with it much yet. Left Fling. Throws the 2 left cards in your hand. Reset Veil. Redraws your hand and increases dodge rate. So if you got a bunch of crap cards that you really don't want, you need to change them out in a hurry, use this. And depending on how well you've stacked your cards together, you may get the one that you need for that moment. Angel's Guidance. An Angel Slime card, I believe, is an SS or SSS rank. So what this does is, if you have an Angel card in your deck, this will summon it to your hand immediately. Of course, it's useless if you don't have an actual Angel Slime card in your hand, so you need to try to get 1 or 2 of these. Obviously, I don't have one yet, since Fortune Teller isn't my main vocation. Magic Crystal Ball increases tarot damage and recovery. This is very important. Always try to use this when you can. I think it lasts the length of its charge time. Demon King's Call. Similar to Angel's Guidance. So long as you have an SSS Tarot card in your hand, most of them, I believe, are Demon King type cards. It's going to place it in your hand, similar to how Angel's Guidance work. Tarot damage plus 50%. This is the default skill for this vocation. You could change this to whatever you want. I believe they have Magical Mending as one of the skills you can take. But if you want to be on the offensive as a fortune teller and have your cards do actual magical damage, then you want to keep this on, because this really, really boosts it. Right now, though, I'm using primarily a healer supportive deck. Revert Hand 2. What this does is it returns your hand to its previous state. So let's say you used a card, but now you want to use that card again for any reason. Or you flung like 2 left cards or 2 right cards, and now you need to bring it back. Use this, and it's going to bring you back to what you had before you flung them. Alright, with explanations out of the way, let's go. good hand. And yes, you can also restore everybody's MP. So, it does make a Fortune Teller a good alternative to Ornamentalist if you don't need an Ornamentalist. As you can see, I heal for that much. So, this is a nice one here. You could also reduce charge time on your allies. It's pretty good for Demon Swordmaster. Here's the one I wanted. Regeneration rate increases based on your magical mending as well. Just healed her for 660 with that card. This is called Aura. When you have 3 cards of the same monster come up, it's going to double the effectiveness of the next turret you use. Zodiac Code. It gives you aura no matter what cards you have up. That is Fortune Teller. So, to summarize, Fortune Teller is a unique vocation capable of attack, support, and healing. How strong they are is based on how devoted you are in getting SS and SSS rank cards, which requires a lot of farming of Terret metals to get Terret metal packs, getting lucky with the silver packs that you can only buy once a day from the Terret metal vendor, and generally putting in the persistence to get the combinations you need to get a whole deck of SS and SSS rank cards. As you can see, with the orb up, my AoE heal does around 500-600. If you stack more magical mending, you could probably get that even higher. If you get the SS or SSS rank cards, it could probably go even higher than that. So, Fortune Tellers can be extremely powerful healers, but you have to basically spec out for it. Because it could suck if when you need a heal and you don't have a heal card up and you need it right there, right now, you don't have time to try to redraw turrets to try to get it up there. Although I think the Angel Slime card is a mass healing card. I haven't looked. But it is imperative that you decide what kind of Fortune Teller you need to be for a fight. Thankfully, you can save several decks and switch between them depending on what you need at the time. But it's like I stated, most Fortune Tellers will do support and healing. So they'll either do buffs and healing, or they'll do weaknesses and healing. Basically buffs and healing or debuffs and healing. Just so they have more control over what cards pop up. And then they might reduce it further and say, get rid of most of the revive cards and keep maybe only 2 or 3, while making sure all the other cards are weaknesses or healing or AoE healing, and not take any of the negative stats healing with the 80 HP. So, not an easy vocation to play. It does take a tremendous amount of work to be really good at it, but it can be well worth it once you do manage to get the deck that you want, all the cards collected, and you have everything sorted out for yourself. Alright, so the next vocation video is going to be of Ranger, so I gotta get on that and do its subquest soon. As for the Fortune Teller's emblem, reduce tension consumed when using Terret. So essentially, you could make your Fortune Teller a tension-based vocation. It just seems a little odd to me. But my guess is if you have somebody in your team that can raise your tension up for you, or you're using a weapon that raises tension up, by having this equipped, you don't use up all your tension immediately. You just use up one stage of tension whenever you use a tarot card, so that can be pretty powerful. But I don't think it's really necessary. As for the pose, Fortune Doctor. Alright. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Huh.